I mean, the topic here is how to deliver the potential of the established technologies, and we talked about, of course, before with Andreas, that a healthy OEM landscape and technology is very important going forward. Now, the other thing is, what needs to be done, where to invest, what to do, what are reforms that need to go with it. Now, your organization, together with the IMF, has recently published a paper in response to the COVID crisis, which is called the Sustainable Recovery Plan. And reading, in that document, it feels almost like you've discovered the perfect world. Like there is money that is ready to be deployed. Obviously, all these stimulus packages are very helpful, or adding up to an incredible amount of money that's going in there. But what did strike me is really like, one seemed to be able to get it all without any trade-offs. I mean, you have identified measures where you get growth from it, you get job creation, you get CO2 reduction, you get a reduction in poverty, you get even a 5% reduction in conventional pollutants. So I was just a bit suspicious. Like, is that really true? So have we a perfect world, or are there no trade-offs that need to be taken in order to to do the right thing now according to the sustainability plan?
No, I think the main message from our recovery plan is that there is a momentum now. We are all going through an economic crisis, health crisis, but we need to be optimistic on what we can do. And our idea of the Sustainable Recovery Plan is that governments invest in the next 3 years globally $1 trillion per year, and that would create jobs, and that would peak emissions in 2019 in an optimal world, if all governments would follow that Sustainable Recovery Plan. What we see now, that some put clean energy technologies, clean energy resources at the forefront. Not everyone does it, because there is a short-term view. All governments want to go out of the crisis, create jobs. But sometimes creating jobs is not in line with the long-term objectives. So it's good to invest and make that plan in the next 3 years, but it must be aligned to the long-term objectives. And that means creation jobs in the clean energy sector and in technologies which brings the future benefits as well, not only short-term benefits. So it's an ideal plan, I agree, but it must be fulfilled and taken serious by all governments, not only a few.
And one of the things that is quite interesting is, I mean, that when I read through the recovery plan, I had the impression that it's not all rocket science. Some things seem pretty obvious. Or what is your take on it? Is it the reason why not everybody is immediately jumping at it and all governments are immediately implementing it? Is it because it is still difficult in the end? It looked to me like there's a couple of very low-hanging fruits. Can you maybe comment a bit on your view on that?
There are certainly low-hanging fruits which concerns energy efficiency and renovation of buildings, which concerns renewable, decentralized solar power and others technologies. But I think some governments, Germany, EU, I think they have taken up a couple of those measures we are providing. On the other side, there's a lot of pressure from governments to help established industries like airlines. I mean, let's put they are in a very difficult situation. I mean, there's no airplanes flying. Air traveling is down by 60 to 90%, depending on the country. So there is a tendency from some governments just to help them come over the crisis. But I think a good example here is France or Air France, who got support from the government under conditionalities, saying that, for example, inland flights should be taken over by trains. There's an excellent train system here. So some governments have good examples to help these industry under conditionality, which are more climate aligned. Others are facing other pressures.
Okay, so that's an interesting example, and I guess everybody immediately understands that indeed there is kind of special interest groups that would immediately say, well, hold on, maybe overall this is a good thing, but for our particular industry or our particular region, this is a very tough trade-off that needs to be taken.